kitty, what are you doing? What are you doing? Put up. You know what? I think I might do a vlog. I've not done one for a bit. So that being said, welcome back to Veefour. Now my mind has been completely mashed recently with contemplations on my second bike that I'm hoping to buy in October, or at least ordering it in October. I've pretty much made my decision between the Triumph Tiger 800XRX and the BMW R1200 GSTE and the Ducati Multistrada S. So yeah, I think I've made the decision that I'm gonna stick with. It's sort of 90% there. All the contemplations have been done. I've read pretty much every review and critique of every one of the bikes. I don't think I'm going to test ride anymore. I'm not going to bother testing the Aprilia Tuono V4R. I'm sure it's a lovely bike and it gets really good reviews for its suspension alone. But the reviews say that the cruise control isn't very good. They say it's not very intuitive and it's more faff than it's worth, which is a big no-no. And the KTM Super Adventure, that is just way too expensive. It's even more expensive than the Ducati Multistrada S. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the three that I've tested. But which one I will get, I'm not going to tell you right now. You will just have to wait, because as I said, I am absolutely fed up to the back teeth of the whole affair right now. So I'm going to give it a few weeks, so I'm not going to give it any thought at all, and I'm going to see which one my thoughts absently drift back into my head about. There'll be one bike more than the others that I'll think about unconsciously, and that'll be the one I'm going to get. So anyway, we'll leave that right there. What I would like to talk about today, pausing only to turn my indicator off, which has been flashing for about the last half a mile. I've had Tessie here for the best part of a year now. We've done 3,000 miles together. In fact, just slightly short of 3,000 miles, and on this ride today I may actually pass the 3,000 mile mark. That being said, pausing very briefly to put the bike into track display, as is customary on my video blogs, because you can't see the speedo. You can't see the speedo, man. You can't bust me for speeding, because you can't see the goddamn speedo, man. I'll tell you what. Come on, fucking muppet. That was an example of a Muppetus Maximus, indecisive, dithering old bloke in a car. Anyway, where was I? Oh, I was just hanging off the side of Tessie for a second. Wah! Come on! Oh. I love this bike. So Tessie and I have been together for almost a year now, and we've done 3,000 miles together. And I'd like to give just a little bit of a critique and my thoughts and feelings of this bike now that I've owned her for a year and I've done a sizable amount of miles on her. Well, she is a 2014 Aprilia Tuono V4R 1000 APRC blah-de blah-de blah, real biker's nod. Now, I have not been able to get my arse off this bike. Whenever possible, whenever the weather's been favourable, whenever I've not been working, I've been riding this bike and I've been enjoying pretty much every minute of it. Not absolutely every single minute, but most of them. And as I've ridden a few different adventure style bikes and a couple of different sports bikes this year, the S1000RR and the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade, I've kind of got a bit of a mixed bag now of modern bikes to compare it to. Now me personally, I am all about the Super Nakeds. For me, they are the best kind of motorbikes for me on the road. You know, back early in the sort of late 80s and early 90s, when I sort of really started to cut my teeth riding bikes, I always liked the Street Fighter style motorbike, and that would be a standard road-going Japanese multi-cylinder inline 4 bike, things like the Z1000 or the CB1000. Just bear with me a sec. Oh, I love this bike. really love this bike. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So as I was saying, I've always favoured the naked, aggressive looking, muscular, large capacity Street Fighter style motorbike. And there was a time when if you wanted a bike like that, you had to make it yourself. You would have to buy a donor bike, things like the Suzuki Bandit or Honda CB1000, Suzuki GS1000, things like that, and you would then start stripping off the basic plastic and bodywork and subframes, and you would put on a set of like motocross handlebars, a little set of twin spot headlights, and you'd strip away, you know, down to its bare minimum, stick some fat sticky rubber on it, good suspension, and it would, you know, a big aftermarket exhaust made an absolute racket, and if you could have swing to it, a custom paint job. And I always loved the bikes like that, the kind of bikes that you see in the magazines. In the UK there's one called Backstreet Heroes and a sadly now defunct one called Street Fighters, and every month they would have these readers' bikes in there that they'd made themselves, and really nice examples of custom bike work. I actually had a bit of a go at making one myself, and I shall put a picture of it up here if I can find it, which was based on a Suzuki Bandit 1200 from 1998, which I put upside down forks on it, grey swing arm, all that kind of stuff. It looked nice. It was never quite finished because it's just a big money pit customising bikes. It's a real pain in the arse. Anyway, but these days, or latterly, motorcycle manufacturers have kind of realised that there is a large and significant chunk of the market out there that want bikes like this. They don't want nice, comfy, well-mannered touring bikes. They want, you know, things that are a bit aggressive and muscular and fast, but don't have all the plastic of a superbike on them. So, hence was born the genre of the super naked. And now I've always been attracted to this class of bike, and my last couple of bikes, the Triumph Speed Triple and Tessie her very good self, are sort of very much in the bloodline of this style of bike. Because they are, in essence, a bit of a do-it-all bike. With the exception maybe of the gas mileage in Tessie's case. But, you know, you can ride them all day in relative comfort, they handle well, they go fast, and you can ride them, you know, on a reasonably long journey. So Tessie, again, apart from the fiendishly horrible gas mileage and the propensity to poor low speed fueling, does all this and more. And in the year that I've been on her, it has been a great year. I have really bonded with this bike. I really feel like I'm starting to get to grips with her now. I've got round to turning all the rider aids down, now that I'm aware where the power is and just how immediate the power is. I've turned the traction control down to 4 out of 8. I have the wheelie control dialed right back to 1 because I just love the way that when you give her a big handful of power, she'll just lift the front wheel nicely. And I'm not a wheelie king, this has already been well established, and I can't wheelie on demand, but every now and again Tessie will reward me with just lifting the front wheel 2 or 3 inches off the road under power, and she holds it there nicely with no threat of a wobble or a tank slap on landing. It's beautiful, and she does all that for me. It's basically riding on easy mode, these rider aids. You can have them turned all the way up, and as safe as houses, you know, she'll do everything she can to prevent you from high-siding her. It's not foolproof. You know, if you're going to lose your front wheel, you're going to lose your front wheel, and that's that. And if you're going to have a really big slip on the back, there will always be that risk that it will re-grip again and flip you off. But it at least does its best to ameliorate some of that risk. So you can be a bit shoddy with the throttle, and she won't punish you for it like the Honda Fireblade that I rode at the Ron Aslan Race School. That, because it had no traction control, there's a couple of occasions where I actually felt the back wheel spinning under the power, and you know, if I'd have been given it any more, if I'd have been a bit more aggressive and a bit more leaned over, it would have either done a real low side or a big old high side. So yeah, the rider aids are excellent, and they're not too intrusive. You're not really aware of them sort of kicking in. It's only sometimes when I look back through my videos like this that I'll just see the traction control light flickering on, and you know, I didn't was actually aware she did that, and it's just me being a bit ham-fisted and a bit slippy with the clutch, and whoo, there she goes, she's caught me, and I've not even noticed it because it's so subtle. And that was when I used to ride her on maximum traction control. Now that I ride her on 4, I find that, well, I don't think I've actually managed to activate the traction control since, but you know, I feel that she's more willing to pick up out of the corners, and she's more willing just to loft the front wheel out of heavy acceleration. So yeah, love the rider aids, and she's lovely and comfy. Not the comfiest bike, but you know, she's a good compromise. You know, nice semi-upright seating position, but it doesn't take much to slide your arse back into the seat hump, drop your elbows, and you're in a very sporty, very controllable position. But out of everything about this bike that I have just come to love over the last 12 months, it's this Veefour engine. Hey buddy! If you have never ridden an Aprilia, or latterly the V4s, like the Tuono or the RS Veefour, and you're a bit of a bike head, now you pretty much must be, because you're watching a video blog by a biker, so you must have some interest in bikes. But if you're into your performance bikes and your powerful bikes, then you need to either make friends with someone with one of these, or the RS Veefour, or go and blag one from an Aprilia dealer, because they are sublime in power delivery, in torque, in the way it just comes alive. They are magnificent, and it's that soundtrack. Oh, I can't really do it now because I'm following a load of slowpokes, but and these little GoPro microphones and these helmet mounted microphones that are hidden behind a load of foam padding really don't do justice just to how good these V4 sound. Even with the stock cam that I've got on now, they just sound epically good, especially on like a second gear 10,000 RPM overrun. The noise that comes out of this thing, oh, it is just I'm going to start emoting and being very superlative driven, but wow, you can't describe it unless you've actually slung your leg over one of these. That is what I am talking about. Just that V4 growl, that roar like some kind of primordial proto-saber-tooth tiger getting kicked in its nuts. That's pretty much what it sounds like. It sounds like a fight between a T-Rex and a fucking mutant fucking tiger. Awesome sound. When I did the recent track day on where I performed terribly but the bike performed fantastically, people actually said just how good it sounded coming down the home straight, you know, and people were saying, oh, can't believe it's got a stock pipe on that, it sounds fucking awesome. And it does, which is why I've not been in a big rush to get a new pipe. Doesn't need one, although cosmetically wise I wouldn't mind one, but we'll see about that for next year. For me now, this Aprilia Tuono is the best bike for leisure weekend riding for me. There's no other bike out there that I want. There's no other bike that I've got my eye on that I would think would be a good replacement for Tessie, because right now for me she is irreplaceable. You know, and if something was to happen to her, if she was stolen or I crashed her and I had to get another one, I would be very tempted just to get another one like this. I really would. The only thoughts that I've had regarding her is that I really enjoyed riding the full sports bike CBR 1000RR on the Ron Haslam race school. I enjoyed the maneuver. I liked the way that it was track focused, and I understood why that radical seating position works so well on a track. It's much easier for hanging off and getting around corners quickly, and I would like a bike like that, but I don't want to get rid of Tessie to get one. I don't have an endless pit of money, and I couldn't afford a third bike. I'm pushing it getting two. It's only because, I'm married, I don't have any kids, and I have a very small house that I can afford two bikes. I don't think I can push it to a third, at least not a relatively modern one anyway. So, but I kind of would like to get into track riding a bit more, so I'm going to give that a bit of a thought over the winter when Tessie's garaged up, once the salt starts landing on the roads, because she won't be out after that. So the only thing I've kind of considered that I might do is trade her in for an Aprilia RS V4 of a similar sort of vintage, because that would just probably require a cash adjustment on my part of a grand and a half, something like that, and I'd have a bike similar in mileage and use that Tessie's got. And what I would want to do then is take all the factory plastic off and put fiberglass track plastic on her, and just have her as a track bike for a few months and see how I get on. And if I realise I don't like it, or I'm just not doing very well, or I don't have the bottle, what we say in the UK, bottle means guts, to go fast on a racetrack, because I kind of suspect I haven't, then I could always put the road gear back on and I've got a kick-ass weekend bike again. That is the only kind of changey thoughts I'm having regarding the Aprilia. I really don't want to not have this V4 engine in my life right now, because I love it so much. And that, in a kind of roundabout sort of nutshell, is how me and Tessie have been getting on for this last year. Basically, very well. Very well indeed. She's a cracking bike, and I have no regrets whatsoever about purchasing her. She's superb. In fact, I might even treat to some second gear. Yeah, that is the only slight downside of this bike, is that she doesn't like being ridden very slowly. If you want to ride at normal 30 miles an hour speed limit road speed in the UK, you've got to ride around in second gear, or at a pinch third gear. But in third gear you find yourself having to use the clutch a little bit to take the lumpiness out, which is just the one small turd in the water pipe with this bike, is its low speed fueling. But it's not what it's for. It's not what I've got it for anyway, which is why I wouldn't want to commute on her or use her day to day, because one, she just drinks too much fuel, and two, she's quite hard work to ride at low speeds. But that will be all taken care of with the addition of a new bike to my stable. So that's about really all I've got to say about Tessie. She's awesome, superb, and I love her to bits. She is fantastic. So anyway, if you've not already subscribed to the Veefour channel, please do. I'd really like it if you did. Everyone needs friends, don't they? Or just like this video, share it amongst your friends, tell them all about it, spread the word. Or not, I don't care. I'm not in this for the subs, I just like to speak to you guys. But keep it tuned in any case for the upcoming purchase of a new motorcycle, and hopefully the weather will not close in too much, and I'll get a few more chances to ride Tessie and vlog from her whilst before the winter sets in. So from me and Tessie the Tuono here, we both wish you all the best, and please keep those bikes shiny side up, chaps. The black bits go on the road, the shiny bits go upwards. They work better that way, and I will see you later. Bye bye.